Reapers Underground. We hope you survive.
Oh, yeah, demons. I told you it is, in fact, a double shot Reapers Underground week, and that second shot has been poured. Only this time, we're a little early. The light is still out. I know. I usually don't rise around this time, but that's okay. I've decided to come out of my crypt for a very good reason. I have a distinguished member making his debut on the Underground is the great Guerrilla Metropolitana himself, director of Darius and The Benefactress. Art pictures that'll just make your liver quiver, put the shivers down your spine till you just can't take it no more and you'll come back for more. That's right. So what we want to do, demons, we want to make sure that we are sharing this shit out. Anywhere and everywhere there is a horror lover. If you are ready to be shocked, if you are ready to be slapped around and fucking, I don't know, whatever, strung up, slapped around, I don't give a shit. This is the episode for you. So we are very, very happy to have him today. Thank you, Meredith J. Brown, for setting this up for us. And before we get into all of this madness, we need to take a quick commercial break to our brother over at HorrorStruckHotSauce.com. Hotter than hell. That's right. You know what to do. I tell you, at least 4 times a week, get y'all's asses over to HorrorStruckHotSauce.com. It's barbecue season, and why not put a little horror in your meat? That's right. Welcome, everybody out there in the comment section. Woo-woo! Meredith Brown is here. There she is. Woo-woo! Hey, Yobelka, god damn, it feels like I haven't seen you in a year. Thank you for joining on today. It's a pleasure to have you. Lizzie and my undead brother Mortimer is out there as well. Awesome. So we are here to talk about 2 very special films. Some horror fans can take shock and awe, some can't. That's just the way it is, and that's okay. But to me and most everybody out there in the Black Flame universe loves realism. And this is something that Guerrilla does very, very well. By the way, how are you doing today, brother?
I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I told you, it's like no other show you'll ever do.
Yeah.
But, oh shit, Kevin Jenserowski, creep footage in the house as well. Damn. I must have caught everybody at lunchtime today. Fucking A right. Let's do it. Fantastic, man. So I gotta say, what has been some of your inspiration to getting into filmmaking and doing these art pictures? Because let's face it, this is a true art. It's dark art, and we love that shit here. So what kind of got you on this path?
My background is music and arts.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that. Yep.
And I started off as a musician, and for many years, I was always into filmmaking, but I guess I never really had the courage to get into it because the type of stories I always wanted to develop which were quite dysfunctional. So I left that dream in the closet for many years, and I've been dedicating my time into music and arts. Um, I used to paint a lot of nude, black and white. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I've always been attracted to erotic art.
Sure. Most of
Very,
us are.
very. Women, men, both. Um, yeah, I've been doing that for many years, arts and music. And only a few years ago, I decided to finally get started with what I really wanted, which was filmmaking. And I started off with a bunch of short horror films, experimental stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but in my mind, I wanted to go deeper, um, and that level of depth, I finally reached it with my first feature film, Darius.
Absolutely. And what a triumph, in my opinion. I mean, I've seen some dark films, and let's face it, it's always independent, even if it has a higher budget. Uh, I've still seen films that really kind of bring something special, more realism. But most importantly, I can see where that painting influence comes in because of the scenery, the cinematography, and all the colors and how things move. It's like moving art. I mean, that's probably the best way I can describe it for me, because I've always been like a big David Lynch fan. 70s horror, obviously. You had the drug influence, so that's kind of what brought all those colors and different styles of telling the tale. And you kind of tell it in very much in that way. There's not a lot of dialogue, you know, and that's okay because honestly, in the movements of the actors and what the actors are doing, tell the tale. It could be just a fucking stare, you know what I mean? That really just kind of puts that feeling of horror, and then something out of the blue fucking happens, and you're like, "Whoa, okay," And I'm sitting here thinking about kind of what we were talking about. Some podcasts were kind of like, "Can't do it, sorry," moving on. And then I sit here and I think about the latest Terrifier 3. Have you seen it?
Yes, I did.
We're talking about some of the most outrageous kills never done basically on screen. I mean, it was we watched a dick get cut in half by a chainsaw. We're not splitting hot dogs here. It's an actual, phallus. So how is what you're doing any different? Just because it's not, as gory. And don't get me wrong, there is some really good gore throughout Darius. I love it. But I just don't see what people can't get about it or why it can't sit with them. So can you give us just a little bit of premise? Because I want all of the demons out there in the comment section and everybody watching to go watch this because it's fucking good. So give us a little bit of the premise of Darius.
Well, Darius, fundamentally, the story is very basic. It's about a little girl from a middle class family in Britain.
Babylon, you're so naughty.
One day she goes missing. So probably kidnapped, sexually abused, the film does not show it. And later on, we see her family, each member of the family in different situations, dealing with that kind of pain. The mother, the father, the grandma, and each member of the family deals with that kind of pain differently, to the point that the viewer begins to understand the psychology of each member of this family. We soon realize that the dysfunctional element of this family is very profound, because the girl's mother has a sexual, incestual relationship with her mother, which is the girl's grandma. And the girl's father is a drunk, and he also likes to masturbate in front of the painting representing his own daughter. So we see a number of different things, and then at one point we see this cross-gender maniac wearing high heels and a hair sculpt, which was removed by a victim, a woman, a pregnant woman, in the beginning of the film. And his sexuality is very ambiguous, because he dressed up like a woman, but he's a young, strong man who just breaks into this house and begins his ritual of rape, cannibalism, murder, and each member of the family comes to reality through this person. And the film at the end ends with this maniac killing every single member of the family after raping the two women and eating one of them, and also eating the guts of the man, the girl's father. And the film does not tell you who was filming at the beginning of the film the little girl playing in the park, whether it was her own father or the maniac, since both of them in the film have access to a camera. So, and then the film ends with the maniac prowling around, looking for other places to break into until he finds new victims. And the film does not give you any answer as to the reason why all of this happened. Who murdered the girl? Why it happened? The film does not give you any rational explanation, because in my mind, when it comes down to madness, you don't need a rational explanation.
Could have been totally fucking random.
Yeah, but even called random has always a logic. Just because we cannot understand it, it doesn't mean that there isn't one. The film opens with some words on the screen, which says the most important questions are the unanswered ones. And that's exactly what the film is a bunch of events, and at the end, there's no answer for it. The gore aspect is very limited. There's only a couple of scenes, I believe, in there which are quite gory. The rest is very sexual, perverse, references of pedophilia, references of incest, cannibalism, necrophilia, rape. But everything is just touched upon.
Right, it's implied.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that got me when I was first watching it, is the fact that it says the most important questions are the ones that aren't said. I kind of had that feeling right away that you're going to get sucked in and it's going to be a psychological mind fucker.
Yes.
That's one of my favorite types of horror, is psychological. I mean, we've seen, it's not like we haven't seen stuff like this before, you know what I'm saying? But not done the way you did it. Because the first thing that came to my mind was like Buffalo Bill as a serial killer from Silence of the Lambs. And these other topics have also been shown very much so. It almost has a little bit of Texas Chainsaw feel to it because you don't always have direct violence. You know what I'm saying? You know, especially like the cannibal part. It's not really so much in your face, but there's enough there to let you know that this is what this motherfucker's doing. It's almost like you are putting the audience into the mind
yes.
of this individual. And I like that better.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
We have some fantastic comments for you, sir. So my brother Mortimer here says, I appreciate that to put, we all grieve and feel things differently, and then to be able to handle the darker subjects. Bravo to you, sir. And that was one of the things that I was going to expound on as well, because you can actually feel the grief, but you know, sometimes people take it to darker places.
Yes.
It changes them. And you know, everyone always says, oh, they'll go to drugs, they'll go to this or that. Sometimes they go to much crazier shit.
Yes.
That never really gets talked about. It's like a psychologist's wet dream, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So to be able to kind of put that out to the forefront, I think was brilliant, because there's been films where we see people go through stages of grief and stuff. And, you know, I feel like they only skim the surface, but the artistry and the visual aspect of this film really does hit you right in the head and in the heart at the same time. And I like that. Mortimer also goes on to say, I like not getting answers. Yes. Don't tell me why Michael Myers is crazy. Show me. And he gets it. I got it. Shit. And I feel like anyone that is watching today is going to get that if you haven't checked this out. Madness is, you know, it is tricky, but you might be the first one to really give us that madness. And I feel like there's some elements of like the 70s type of shot. I Spit on Your Grave, Last House on the Left, The Fury, and a couple of other ones. Have you ever been kind of influenced by some of those films?
I Spit on Your Grave, the original one from 1978.
Oh yeah, that was a brutal watch.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite films. I think it's a fucking masterpiece.
It really is.
To be honest with you, yeah. I'm not a big fan of the remakes, but I'm a huge fan of the original one. Huge.
It was darker.
Yeah, it was very basic, raw, amatorial, underground, and you know, the director, which only made 3 films in his entire life.
Mm-hmm.
In my eyes, the man is a fucking genius, because he was able to make an effective film with very limited resources. But no, it was not an inspiration directly. My inspiration for Darius comes from paintings, various paintings, especially black and white, expressionistic kind of paintings, you know.
There's something about black and white.
Yeah, I've always been attracted to black and white because the lead actress, Il Argento, which was told to strip naked for me in the film. At one point, I wanted her nipples to get really, really hard. And And what I've done, because it was quite hot that day, what I've done, I opened the skylight window to create a change of temperature.
Right.
So her body could respond to that. And
No ice cubes.
yeah, and as soon as her body reacted to that, I grabbed the camera and I started filming her naked body, and I was asking her to masturbate so I could film the whole thing live.
Mhm.
And the reason why I'm saying this is because I've always been attracted to the spontaneous element. Female masturbation, in particular, it's something that is very present in my films because it comes from my background. We spoke earlier on when I was an art student in Rome. I had many women coming to my house, any age, from very young to quite elderly, and I always asked them to strip naked and to masturbate so I could paint them. And and a lot of my old paintings are women masturbating, which, in my view, in my opinion, is one of the most beautiful things ever because it represents sensuality, eroticism, humanity in the purest form. And Darius has a lot of that when the actress is masturbating, when her mother is giving her oral sex, and the whole sexual innuendo in Darius is very much there to show the sexual nature of these characters. But all of that comes from my painting artsy background rather than films.
Absolutely. Meredith says telling a full and complex story without any dialogue is genius. That I don't know. That's kind of tough, I think, for a lot of actors to do, especially ones that are usually used to delivering a lot of dialogue. So when you take that away, was that kind of a challenge for some of the actors and actresses?
Good question. The lead actress, Il Argento, she was an Italian. Well, she is an Italian actress that flew from Italy here to England for a couple of days. Her background is theater, stage, and she was used to dialogues. And the first thing I said to her was, "You will perform with your body and visually. I don't give a flying fuck about your Shakespearean background because I will take acting to a different level where your body performs."
Right.
When I say body, I don't mean pornographically. I mean in any way,
Movements,
facial expression,
facial expression. So important.
anything. So it was quite challenging for her at first. I had to take her out of her box, but at the end, she succeeded. At the end of the day, I create the performance using the actress. In other words, it's like a possession. I possess her body, and through her, I create the performance using her quality. Yeah, that's my idea of acting performances, visual performance rather than spoken performance, which is a lot tougher because it's easy to deliver a dialogue which says 9 times out of 10 fucking nothing. And it's a lot more difficult to perform visually, to portray pain, arousal, fear, terror, whatever, through expressions. So that was the aim, to create a film that was able to communicate to the audience through visuals. and that's why it's being praised by many as a work of art, but
Oh, it
also,
is.
but also trashed by others, more traditional, as an artsy, pretentious, artsy flick. Which again, I don't give a shit. I'm a very prejudiced filmmaker. I don't believe in equality. I don't believe. I'm a very, very prejudiced guy. I believe in class A people, class B people, class Z people. In other words, I don't make films for stupid fucking spastics. You know, I make films for an exclusive kind of audience. They are not
Yeah,
afraid.
it's to make people think.
Yeah, yeah,
Most
yeah,
movie viewers are just like, just give me the cliff notes. I don't need you know
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I just want to be fed quickly and let's move on. That's just today. That's just today's audience. I find that a lot. But those that I think are big independent film viewers, they're kind of special. You know what I'm saying? They're into it. They want something to reach them on a deeper level. And a lot of what we see in modern cinema, theaters today, is very humdrum. Yes, it's good storytelling, especially if it's based on a book. But then, they're still kind of holding back. I think a lot of mainstream, and that's why I don't like the mainstream. They hold back. They don't give you the whole, guts of it. And I referenced movies based on books as well, and a lot of times they leave some of those really darker details out. But I feel in Darius, you give it all. You leave your heart
yeah.
right there in the middle of it, and you're getting so many. It's like you go to let's say a fancy restaurant, and I'm not really that big of a fan of fancy restaurants, but there's all these different flavors, and you have to try every little fucking bit of it, and then you have to have the right wine, or you have to have the right liquor, or this or that, or whatever the fuck, and you're giving your viewers a palate.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, there's two ways of looking at filmmaking. The first one is purely as entertainment,
Right?
which is fair enough. I respect that, but that's not me. The second approach to it, which is my way, my thing, is to create, or at least an attempt to create art.
Yes.
When I had my actress in Darius the very first day on set, the first thing I asked her was, strip naked, get naked.
Right.
And, I want your sexuality.
Right.
So, and the point is, that is, in my mind, is to capture on camera something real, something authentic. So it's not fake, it's not plasticky, it's not artificial, it's real. And all I had to do was to capture
I'm
it.
sorry. Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah, absolutely. I didn't mean to cut you off. We had a little bit of a delay.
No, don't worry. Don't worry.
But what I was going to say, it's not much different from a lot of the independent films that are going on right now. Especially in Omaha. I mean, you don't get it as authentic as you do it, but it's definitely there. In American, independent films, that they're pushing sexuality constantly. Night of the Dead, Sorority Babes, Babezilla, and all those films. Shit, I'm trying to think of some other ones. There's so many. OnlyFans, that's another one. They're always pulling in people from sex workers and stuff. Nobody ever says shit about that. but they have a problem with your films. Well, there's a reason for that. You're giving the real deal. And I think that's what fans of this type of art are going to appreciate, is because it does feel real to them. And I mean, shit, how many people talk about 50 Shades of Grey? I mean, that's a tawdry, tasty piece of reading material that's probably in every housewife's fucking cabinet across the whole hemisphere at this point, right? And they brought that shit to life, but was it really real, though? Did it feel real? That's the question. Mortimer says, I love as well to pull inspiration from paintings and the emotional levels of the characters. Now, very much so, I have to say, because I've taken up painting recently myself, I was always just the drummer, man. I was the drummer. I was the lyricist of just about every band that I was in. And that was kind of like my thing. But I've recently gotten into painting because, God damn it, it's therapeutic to me in a lot of ways, because I literally just paint emotion. Do I end up in most of them? Yes. In some form or fashion. But, you know, I'm trying to convey the inner part, the part that people never see. I feel kind of your film is very relatable that way because, or your style of filmmaking, I should say, brings out emotions that people don't see. They don't see behind closed doors. They don't know what happens once, you know, you've had a conversation with somebody that lost somebody close to them. And what they do once they're gone for the night. I mean, some people OD, you know, some people find some outlet for rage.
If you look at a painting, any painting, you look at it and you try to memorize that painting, and you come back the following day and you look at the same painting, you will perceive the same painting differently. And that's exactly what my films, particularly Darius, actually do. You can watch Darius 4 times, 5 times, whatever,
and pick up on
every single time you watch it, you take it differently.
Yep.
Because the film was originally conceived under a natural state of trance. I was actually hallucinating when I created that film without using drugs, just listening to psychedelic music, my ex-band. And I was writing down what my brain was, you know, visualizing. So, and then the following day when I was back to planet Earth, I started to elaborate these little sequences. That's why the film, it's so abstract. It doesn't follow a line. It goes like bubbles. One bubble showing you something, another bubble showing you something else, another character here, another character there. It's not linear. It's kind of, you know, bubbles of stories that your brain will have to put together.
Yeah, it definitely breaks the traditional mold, if you will, of filmmaking. Everything has to be first act, your second act, your third act, and, you know, your finality. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But is storytelling always this way? No, it really isn't, especially in literature. I noticed that a lot. As well, you're not. Sometimes you think you know where you're at, and then you don't. But after, like you said, more than one viewing, you start to pick up on so much more. Mortimer says the same thing. He says that's badass. A movie with built-in rewatch value, and that's what realism does. And for everybody out there in the Black Flame universe, we're going to take a look right now at the trailer for Darius. And I think a lot of what we've spoken about so far is really going to shine through and hook y'all's asses into the madness. Ha ha! Let's do it. Such a grindhouse kind of feel. Uh, and I'm not saying Tarantino, because Tarantino is not a very big director for me, because I think he's overrated. I will always say that. But the true grindhouse guys, I think, really capture or have kind of invented this whole genre of grindhouse. Roger Corman. A lot of Roger Corman films. I'm glad I was able to pull that out of my gray matter. Sometimes I'm bad with names, but I know exactly where I'm going, because I'm like an encyclopedia of fucked up films. But a lot of those style films, I kind of felt like really pushed the limits, and there was just something about the 70s, especially with Hammer films, The Satanic Rites of Dracula.
Yeah.
You know, that was very shocking for people at that time. I mean, The Exorcist, shit. Whoever thought they would see some child masturbate with a crucifix of all things?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Everyone's digging it out there in the comment section from what you've seen. So guess what? Y'all need to see this. And where exactly can they find this?
The film,
viewers find it.
The film is currently on multiple distributions in United States. It's on DVD and Blu-ray with a company called SRS Cinema, and it's also on Prime US. You can actually find it on Prime. It's being rejected by Prime France, Prime UK, Prime Italy, but Prime US took it. So in your country, it's actually on Prime. So yeah.
I'm dying right now because
it is, and it's also
how exactly could those countries reject it?
I mean, Germany. The UK is one of the most stupid countries anyway. So fucking Walt Disney. Walt Disney is fucking pornographic for UK standards. So it doesn't surprise me. Italy is even worse. Italy is a bunch of spastics anyway. So
really,
I mean, Europe is.
They have the Vatican, so there we go.
Europe is so fucking politically correct. So
it's fucking when. I mean, German commercials have nothing but nudity in them. It's like,
in fact, Germany bought my film for Europe, not Amazon, but a German company called Ultra Visual Films, which they made a wonderful release of Darius.
My people have made me proud.
But so the film is currently on different distribution. In America is SRS Cinema, DVD and Blu-ray, as well as Prime and other streaming platforms. And in Europe is with Ultra Visual Films on DVD and Blu-ray. So the film has been rejected by several festivals for obscenity. So
I agree, Meredith. She says, "Don't you just love Americans?"
Yeah. I mean,
we are the ultimate voyeurs of madness. That's for
sure. Kind of funny. It's kind of funny because traditional horror fans they look at Darius with suspicion. Extreme art house fans, they love it. But those ones who go nuts for I don't know, Terrifier 3, for example, and then they watch Darius, they go like, what the fuck is this?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, how can you know what I mean? You're okay with
it's a film that is very difficult to box because it's not truly horror, but it's not, traditionally speaking, art house. It's somewhere in between horror and art house.
Mm-hmm.
It kinds of fits in between.
But that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you'll grab viewers on both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Which can make it very successful. I've always believed that. Well, let's take Ghost for example. The band Ghost, satanic as fuck. Stage show is very, very hot, especially when they used to do the nun bit. So here they are, this big satanic band. They're completely making fun of the papacy, with Papa Emeritus. And here they are, like this great, basic, nice melody, rock band. I mean, they were a little bit heavier in the beginning, but, as time's gone on, it's still, very pleasing to the ear. But yet at the same token, what you're getting with them is the darkness. And I fucking love that. And they've grabbed people on either side of the coin.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what you're able to do with this film as well. Mortimer says, German horror films are great, and come on, Italian horror films have their own genre. They should embrace you. I agree with that. What the hell was that one movie that, it was just really hardcore violent coming out of Italy, which is why I'm kind of surprised that they would shun yours. But they allowed that one. James Carnes, it's his favorite film. So Mortimer, if you can put it in the comments for me, that would be great. My brain is drawing a blank, but when I saw that film, I was like, I've never seen brutality like that. And this is like great Italian horror to me because I love the brutality and these super kills because it's a demonic character. He's possessed and he has this super strength and he can literally destroy Adam Chaplin. Thank you, Mortimer. Right on fucking point there. I was like, now we're getting some good Argento, some good, Fulci coming out of Italy again, and then they reject your film. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I just don't get that. Do they just think that that's fun to watch a guy's head get squashed, to hamburger meat, but you can't take a little bit of sensuality? Come on.
Exactly. And that's my problem.
Come on.
Yeah, Argento, I'm not a big fan of Dario Argento. I think he's very overrated anyway, but
which is fine.
That's just my opinion. But in Argento's films, all you see is the same fucking thing. A hand.
He had his own,
with a glove on, a knife, someone getting killed. It's the same fucking thing for fucking 50 years. It's done the same thing over and over and over and over.
Right. Give us something new. I do definitely agree.
Darius shows a complete different approach. Darius shows, right there on camera, an old woman being raped and eaten alive, which is quite different from the typical hand with a knife killing someone. It's quite different.
It's a film you can't put in a pretty box. It's like heavy metal. They're constantly inventing these different subgenres within metal. And it's like, oh, no, they're this. And you can't do that because you're in that genre. And then, the other guys, if they want to try to experiment, oh, no, you can't do that because you're not known as this. So, dude, I love this shit. And everybody knows here that I've been fucking fighting censorship over this last year. If it's not haters, it's fucking, the FB gods, as it were, trying to censor me. And you can't stop us, because at the end of the day, people love this type of art, no matter what it is. And I think this is definitely a triumph for you. Let's see here. Meredith says, I see so many similarities between you and Dora. I've already said this, but the art house eloquence versus extreme cinema displayed is very definitive.
Yeah, I mean, I've been associated a few times in the past with Dora. I don't know why, because he's uses dialogues in his films, obviously, and but yeah, some people can see some similarities, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's a compliment. I mean, to me, it's a compliment. I admire Dora. I think he's a great filmmaker. So
I'm gonna have to check him out, because actually this is the first time I've heard that name. So forgive my ignorance. But I actually, through you, I want to explore art house a little bit more, because, like I said, I've always been a big David Lynch fan, and even some of Roman Polanski's stuff, even though I really can't stand him as a person, but some of his films I thought were very cool, and I do like that. You know what I mean? If it's dark and it unnerves people, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm a horror fan, but fuck it, I'm gonna watch it because I like that shit. Yeah. I always wish somebody would do an ode to the old Hellfire clubs. No one's ever done it on film, and they were like supposedly the great Satanists of way back in the 1800s. Well, somebody should cover that. I think it would be amazeballs. Oh, okay. Let's see here. Meredith says, watch Melancholy der Engel. Okay.
That's his best one.
I will find it.
That's his best one. That's the best one he ever made. Yeah.
Oh, no. Lizzie says, speaking of censorship, Morty just got spanked. Why? Did YouTube cut his comments again? God damn, I hate that shit. Fuck y'all. Stop it. You can't stop us. It's not going to happen. So that leads us to your next film. I believe this is your latest film. The Benefactress. Another tawdry piece that is not for the faint of heart. Give us a little insight to this one.
The Benefactress.
Facebook friendly.
Yes. The Benefactress, the full title is The Benefactress, An Exposure of Cinematic Freedom, which is fundamentally an experiment to immortalize the very concept of artistic freedom through real sadism. In other words, to own another person's body, a woman's body in this particular case.
It could literally be any.
And turn that body into a complete temple of sadistic sexual pleasure, and immortalize that on camera for the sake of artistic freedom and beauty.
He's back. Fantastic. He said, I was saying he has a right to have his art shown. It's a film. It harms no one. They are scared of original artists and material. And YouTube stopped your comment? What? I just had to bring that out. Yeah. Have we not seen this in Rob Zombie's 31? Yes, we have.
Yes, I mean
In a way,
the difference
different
with the
style though.
manufacturers is the manufacturers has a lot of material is actually real.
Hmm.
I give you an example. One of the actresses, the alias she chose for the film is Mystery Woman,
Right.
because nobody knows about her involvement in the film. Not her husband,
Hmm.
not her actors, co-workers, whatever. And at one point during filming, I remember saying to her uh, during the break, okay, in 5 minutes, we're going to start shooting.
Hmm.
And I'm going to give you real oral sex. And so I wasn't asking, I just told her, I just informed her that that was going to happen with me in the film as an actor.
Hmm.
So she didn't say anything at first, and then after a couple of seconds she said, okay, go on, I'm ready. The film was shot in one weekend in a house that we rented, and the first thing I said to my actresses was, ladies, we are going to get wild. We're going to turn this house into a place of madness and orgies. And I want
Let's
you to
keep
get,
it PG for our Facebookers out there, if we can.
yeah, we're going to turn this house into a place of complete wilderness.
There we go.
Complete wilderness.
Yep,
So,
Meredith says the same thing. Stay Facebook friendly.
yeah.
Unfortunately.
And so a lot of the sexual scenes in the film between me as an actor and one of the actresses are actually real and filmed. So
Yeah, there's a
that,
relationship there, you know.
in fact, after the film, that particular actress became my personal muse. And almost like a relationship between a painter with his model.
Right. And we've seen that type of scenario quite a few times. I
Yes.
would say where an artist and a muse or a muse of any kind,
Yeah.
that there can be a budding relationship there. And again, you're bringing that realism more than let's say the 80s did, and which is where a lot of those films were. Some of the titles are like totally escaping my head, but we have seen that type here, at least in this country, where relationships can form through art because it's very passionate,
Yeah.
it's very vulnerable. But what you're conveying here is kind of like a day in the life of a sadist. Would I be accurate in saying that?
Yes.
Well, who the
Yes.
fuck has ever done that before? No one. You know what I mean?
The
So it's very
real
different.
the real sexual arousal in the film was present
Mhm.
in the film. The film contains a lot of reality. There's a lot of reality in the film, and
Mhm.
but the concept behind is that a filmmaker in this hypothetical fantasy world
Mhm.
is free to do whatever he wants with his actress because he owns her,
Mhm.
and therefore she is his property. And in the name of that, he creates his masterpiece. She is his masterpiece.
Right.
So that's the central point of The Benefactress. You know, it's a film that breaks any moral, legal, ethical rule, and it goes beyond.
I kind
The
of feel
whole-
like Pulp Fiction was no different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
this is basically kind of like your Pulp Fiction on steroids. Just to break it into layman terms for everybody out there in the Black Flame universe, because I'm always drawing connections. Not saying that this idea was even, based on that or born from that or anything, but I think it's just easier to make those connections for some of the viewers out there that are, kind of new to art house. I mean, I'm relatively new to it myself, so
I mean,
I'm a little stinad to that.
I was playing with myself in front of the actresses in order to get a physical reaction.
Right.
And so it could be put in the film, because in the film I appear also as an actor. So I had to do two roles, directing and acting. And the actresses were very easily used to the fact that I was walking around the set half naked and very, very much up, to use a term that YouTube can tolerate.
Right.
Physically up.
They're smart.
Yeah.
They figure shit out. They know slang.
From a masculine point of view. So, yeah. So the film was the whole time filming. We were in that kind of atmosphere. Very, very hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's no different than some of these other films as well. You can't tell me on 50 Shades of Grey that they weren't also very much, even if they didn't show it per se. I don't know, when people saw it, they're like, oh my goodness, went home and had the best time of their life. And it's not because that they weren't, really moved by it. So, I mean, to be convincing, you have to put yourself into that mode of thinking. But in your case, though, it was a little bit more natural. So
yeah,
that is the difference.
The idea was to represent the freedom of a filmmaker, that he could do anything he wanted with his actress. And in the name of artistic freedom, which again, if you look at this concept with middle class bourgeois eyes, is very negative. But if you look at this with anthropological primitive eyes, it makes perfect sense. In other words, it's like painting with real blood from another person. You are painting something using material which is real, natural. And this film incorporates the very essence of artistic freedom through the language of sadism.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. No. Meredith says you can't fake that. Viewers can tell when it's inorganic. And, there's nothing worse than that, in my opinion. When something comes off disingenuous. Because we're not stupid. It's like, okay, well, if you're putting that, if it's part of the story, you can either imply it really well, which there's nothing wrong with that. Or you can give a little bit more of that realism factor. And at the end of the day, the moral police is going to do what they do. And that's just the way they are. I mean, shit, I'm the resident devil of my little town here in Plattsmouth. They look at me and they go the other way. And it's not because I'm not nice, because I am very nice. I'm educated. I have a degree. And, I just happen to do horror films. And I'm at the age now where I just don't give a fuck. I'm not going to hide no more. Why should I? Pay your taxes and all that bullshit. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
And I feel like we live in a time where everything is now open.
Yeah.
There's nothing we don't talk about anymore. There's no stigma. Everybody knows just about everything because, the internet.
Yeah.
Come on. So I think this is also, it's definitely for a specific crowd, and there's nothing wrong with that. And unfortunately, we got to the top of the hour because I could talk to you for like hours, man, just to kind of get more into, your process. And every director's process is different.
Yeah.
So totally appreciate you taking the time today to come to the underground and give us a look into your artistry. And you're making waves, man. And like I said, Darius, you can go find it on Prime. Thank fuck that American Prime was like, sure, we'll take it. And obviously abroad, there are certain places that do have it as well. And where can we find The Benefactress, by the way?
The Benefactress is not out yet. It will be out
yet.
It will be out on the 31st of July on DVD and Blu-ray with an American company called Blood Pact Films. After the film is being rejected by 3 companies. And it will be also in America on streaming platforms, possibly Fossum.
Yes. And as a matter of fact, Lizzie had mentioned earlier that was one of the platforms, I think, for Darius as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Blood Pact Films will release the film very shortly on DVD and Blu-ray, and after that on streaming. But the film, like I say, is being rejected by 3 companies. One of them called me a depraved psychopath. So
that's a big charge. But let me guess,
I took it as a compliment.
Did they?
She must have been a fucking, I don't know, liberal or something, which I'm not. I'm not a liberal, so.
I am nothing. I am nothing and everything. That's the way I like to put it. I don't hold allegiance to any one way of thinking. I'm just free. I'm free in my mind. I'm free in my heart.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a wild animal. I mean, art should be free. It should not be ideological, No.
Well, sure. And if it's not your cup of tea, fucking pass on. Great.
Exactly.
Somebody out there is going to dig it. And I definitely feel that you will have a very much cult following of people that really see it for what it is. And it's art. So now us freaks are actually pretty deep. We're not afraid to show you the different sides of life that, you've secretly been thinking about yourself. Or when you close the door and you've taken that mask off for the day, the real you comes out.
Yeah.
I really feel that, the term of masking is pretty much everybody across the board, especially Christians. Yep, I said it. We all know that you're the biggest freaks in the world, so I don't even have to say that. I'll talk more about that tomorrow night on the goddamn program, as I always do, because I love outing you motherfuckers all the time. You don't see me in the headlines. Thank you so much, Guerrilla, for joining me today. And thank you to everybody out there in the comment section. You guys have gone above and beyond as always. You don't fucking disappoint. And we love you for that. So stay tuned for more programming here on Reaper's Underground Black Flame Entertainment. Because tomorrow night, if you are ready to sin, if you are ready to let your hair down, grab that drink of choice, maybe a little whatever it is you like to do, and we're going to have a good time because I'm going to bust your guts with laughter, and you're going to love it, as always. So, again, thank you for choosing Reaper's Underground this afternoon on your way home from work. I'm sure this just put a whole lot on your plate for the evening out there. But the most important thing is, stay weird, be yourself, for you, for no one else. And at the end of the day, always stay heavy.
Thank you for joining us on Reaper's Underground. Stay tuned for more from Black Flame.